gonna get straight into it. So starting off
Yeah.
with recap of all the games and our predictions. I almost want to skip this because it
Yeah,
was so
we did
bad.
really bad. We did
It
really
was a
bad.
horrendous week of picks. But before we get into it, um, just trust us this week. Last week on the prize pick stuff, I asked for one more chance, and I hit everything. So give us one more chance.
Hmm.
Starting off, Bears versus Commanders. Okay, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way at all, but I didn't realize that a Bears legend was going to die before the game, and they were going to go off in honor of him. So
Okay, that is not a
I went,
good reason to.
no, bro. I mean, every time something like that happens, it happens. It's just a fact. Bears killed the Commanders. DJ Moore went
Yeah,
off 49 fantasy points. It was an unreal game. They
I
beat
mean
them like
that's my
40 to
upset of the
20.
week because honestly, I was really
That's fair.
expecting Commanders to go out there and get a win.
I know.
So
I
I
was
mean
pretty
there
surprised by that.
there was a lot of upsets this week, but that one was the one that surprised me the most. So I
Yeah,
mean,
I know. Almost every game was an upset this week. Honestly.
yeah, to be
Getting
honest.
into my game of the week, we had the Jags versus the Bills. By the way, we both had Commanders and they lost. We also both had the Bills for this game and they lost. So
Hmm.
really good game. The Jags
Yeah,
looked
it was a good
solid.
game.
ETN looked crazy. Like ETN was really good. And then
Hmm.
getting into Houston, Atlanta. Atlanta pulled off a pretty close upset. It was a really good
Yeah,
game
they did.
actually. That could have been game of the
They
week,
got it
honestly.
done. Yeah, it was definitely fair. Like to
CJ
use that as.
Stroud, CJ Stroud still did good. Part of it,
Hmm.
Tank Dell went out with a concussion, so that was unfortunate.
Yeah,
There was a ton of
yeah.
injuries this week. At
There
like,
was a lot of injuries this week.
there was
I
over
mean, every
10.
team had a major injury at this point. Like,
Yeah, I think two or three
mhm.
were like
There's a
were like
lot of
at
knee
season ending
injuries.
or 6 or 7 weeks out or something
Yeah,
like that. Like it was
I mean,
bad.
like, mhm.
It's unfortunate. And then Panthers Lions. That was a pretty obvious game. Panthers suck. They're 0-5. Lions killed them if I remember correctly. Colts versus Titans. I went with the Titans. Zeke had the Colts, and the Colts were able to pull it off without
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson again.
Again, he's
This
really
dude
having
can't
injured.
stay healthy.
He
Like,
can't play an entire game without getting injured.
what is it? 4 out of 5 weeks he's gone out with an injury now, or three?
Yeah,
At least three.
last week was the first week of the season where he didn't get an injury at some point in the
It's
game.
crazy. That's
I don't know
unfortunate
why I
too.
was
He's
talking like
really
that.
good.
I was like glitching in real life when I was talking right there, but whatever.
He's insanely good too. So it's kind of
Yeah,
unfortunate to see
he
that.
is. He looks really good. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Cam Newton. I
Yeah,
mean, just build wise, how he plays.
yeah.
I mean,
They're
he
pretty
looked really
identical,
good. I
honestly.
mean, week 4, he looked really good against the Rams. So I mean,
Yeah, he did. Getting into
it's
Dolphins
unfortunate that he's
Giants.
having this many issues as he is.
Yeah. Getting into
My
Dolphins
bad.
Giants, it was close. I mean, not close, but a lot closer than it should have been,
Yeah, it
realistically.
was. It really was, to be honest.
We both obviously had the Dolphins, and they killed
Hmm.
them. Patriots versus Saints. The one week you go against the Saints, uh,
Yeah,
we both did, but Zeke
let's
usually
just
goes
say
with the Saints. The
this is my first week
Patriots
of the season.
are struggling bad, and
They
they
look
should not
really
be.
bad. I
I
mean,
don't
that
get
team
how
isn't
either.
good, to be fair.
They
That team
have
isn't
the
good at
potential
all,
to be
but
for sure. Like Mac
I mean, I've been saying
Jones,
a lot of
Ramondre
people saying
Stevenson,
they're
and
gonna
Juju could have.
fire Bill after the season.
Dude, you cannot fire Bill Belichick. You can't. You really can't put the blame. I
You
mean, like
can't
you can put
fire
some of
him.
it.
There's just like there's no way you could fire him or something like
There's
that.
zero chance.
Off of
But
one real losing season with a bad quarterback, there's no way
I
you can
know
fire him, right? Like, I
his
mean, he's
first
old. There's a
losing
good chance
season
he
too.
retires. Like,
I'm thinking he will after this, unless
to
they
be
like
honest, I
make
mean,
some
he's
sort of
really old.
crazy trade. I think D Hop could
Yeah.
have gone there, and this team could have succeeded a little more, honestly.
I think you
But then
can't
again,
succeed
Mac
with a
Jones sucks.
genuinely bad quarterback. So, I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And then Ravens versus Steelers. This might have been upset of the week. Falcons Texans was mine, but I think this is probably the upset of the week with Steelers knocking off the Ravens.
yeah.
Crazy game.
I
The
mean,
Ravens suck.
Matthew.Canada@Steelers.com
I can't believe how
must have
bad they
been
are. I thought they were going
clicking.
to be contenders going into the season, and like I really thought Lamar was going to go off, but they're terrible.
I don't think they're terrible, terrible,
No, not like
but
Patriots level. but they
Well,
really
yeah,
look bad.
obviously, but I mean, like, there's still a chance they could, like, if they start playing well, they really get into it, they can still win the division. So, I
Yeah, they
mean, like,
definitely still have a chance, but
the Steelers genuinely don't look good.
no.
Um,
I mean,
and then
other the coaching errors don't look good in my
yeah,
opinion. I think the
I mean,
team
it's
still has
really just their
a huge
offense
chance.
plays really good, and I mean, their defense has been severely underperforming for what they're
Yeah,
expected to do.
yeah,
And
for sure.
I mean, you put those both together, you're a bad team. So I mean, I don't think
Yeah,
like it's gonna end up with any problems with like Mike Tomlin getting fired, but I mean,
I don't think so.
there's
I
I
think Matt
feel like
Canada
there's
for
no
sure
way
gets
Matt
fired.
Canada is still in the league.
No, he
Like
shouldn't be either, especially after the whole burner account thing. That was ridiculous.
that was
Like
it was
calling
so
out
funny.
Mike Tomlin and then getting caught. I don't know how he still has a job right now. Like
Yeah, I mean,
even without the burner account, how does he still have a job? But good game from the Steelers, I guess. They won off
yeah,
a call that
it
Matt
was
Canada
good.
didn't even make. So
Yeah,
I mean, you really
he
just got
looked
to look at
mad.
it. The
He
offense
looked
can
mad and
succeed
up
without him.
in the box.
Yeah, I'll try to put the clip over here because
Yeah,
it'll be
you
funny if I
should.
can get
You
that
should
clip
edit
in.
that in.
Getting into Rams Eagles, I predicted a Rams upset. I hope y'all know an Eagles upset is on the way in the next 2 or 3 weeks. They can't keep up like this. They look not that great. The Rams defense though
Yeah.
is just not good anymore. But the Rams
They're
offense
severely
actually did pretty
washed.
good. Puka still looks just as good with Cooper Cup back for now,
Yeah.
obviously. But I think he'll continue to do so. Honestly,
I think they'll both succeed. I mean, a lot of
yeah,
passes get thrown. You had two
it's
good
a crazy
receivers.
receiving
It's gonna
core. They have
work.
three. Tutu Atwell is really good too.
Yeah.
If he has
Tutu
a
Atwell's
touchdown this
good, but
week,
I don't think he's gonna get the targets, the same amount of targets as he was
no, definitely
before,
not.
obviously. So he's
But
actually in my busts.
oh, really?
Going into this week, I feel like this is where he's gonna start underperforming. They're really gonna like
Yeah.
take off
Realistically, though,
like any restriction.
yeah. I think honestly, like looking at it now, the Rams might have if Cooper Cup like is he does what he was doing before, they might have the best
Mhm.
receiving core in the league. Who's
Yeah,
better?
I mean, if Puka Nacua looks good
And
throughout the
Higby's not
season,
bad
that's
either
an
at all.
argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, Higbee's a very
So
solid tight end. I mean, he's not like
yeah.
top 5 or anything, like,
No, but he'll
but
get it done.
I mean, he's
He can
not
score for
far
you.
off. I mean, going off the
No.
dome and saying like
Top seven
best
maybe.
tight ends in the league, there's not that many good, like very good
Yeah.
tight ends. So I mean, it's a very easy argument.
A tight end is just like if like there's the top three and then every single other tight
Yeah,
end, you can't consider them bad because they all do their job. I feel like there's
yeah,
not really a bad
that's
tight end
very
in the
true. And
league.
I mean, even like 25 years ago, it didn't matter who your tight end was most of the time. There was only like
Yeah.
there's usually only like one since like 2000. There's been a lot of really good tight ends, but I mean, it's a new
Mhm.
thing having a good tight
Yeah.
end. Tight ends were really just meant for blocking and goal line stuff
Yeah.
before. So I mean, like
Right now it's still a
it
QB's
doesn't
league,
really
but
matter.
honestly,
Yeah,
one day like seeing the NBA transition into a centers league, it just seeing a tight end league would be fun. And I mean,
yeah.
you got Brock
I
Bowers
mean,
coming in too. It looks like they're starting
Brock
to become
Bowers,
a
it
tight end
could
league.
very be very possible. I mean,
He's a
a few
top
years back, it
five,
really
10
looks like
pick.
that. If Kyle Pitts was like dominant instead of absolute garbage,
Yeah,
random
Pitch and
stray.
Waller were
But
still as good as they were
yeah,
projected to
Waller
be.
looked
It would
really
be a
good
tight
too
ends league.
at one point. To be honest,
Yeah,
like if going back to like 2019, you could argue
yeah,
it was a tight ends league. There was like
yeah.
5 good
Like when
tight
Mark
ends that were
Andrews was
dominating.
going off, when Kittle
Mark
was going
Andrews,
off,
Gronk
all
was
of them.
still in the league.
Yeah, true.
Um, Kelsey, of course, very
It
good.
honestly was a tight ends
Um,
league for a year or
yeah,
two there, and then
Waller
they
was
just fell
really
off.
good
Yeah,
that year specifically. I mean, yeah, it kind of was. It was like a
yeah.
weird random off track thing, but I mean,
It's fun to talk about.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
it was
watching tight
honestly.
ends play. So, and
I
then
mean, they're very like
pause.
important to the game when you really look for it. Yeah, yeah, I got that one too. I was about to say
Never mind. Getting into the and then Zeke had Eagles, by the way. Getting into
yeah.
Bengals Cardinals, we both had Cardinals. Bengals,
I
Jamar
feel like
Chase pulled
every
off the
time,
upset,
yeah. I
not the
mean,
Bengals. Jamar Chase.
it was good. I wouldn't call it an upset either. I mean, the Bengals were favored,
I mean, no, not an upset,
but
but Jamar Chase is the
I mean,
reason
they
they
looked
won.
really bad, and there was a good chance they were going to lose that game. So that's why I
Hmm.
chose the Cardinals. I shouldn't have
Yeah,
because
me
I feel
too.
like every time I choose the Cardinals for something, we never win. So I mean,
Stop
Yeah.
choosing them.
I need to stop
And
choosing them.
then
I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't even watch the game. I was busy on
yeah,
Sundays during that time, but I
I
wasn't
watched
shocked.
highlights up to date, and
Jamar
it was
looked
a
good.
pretty
I
it was a
caught the
pretty
end of the
good
game.
game. Oh, did you? Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
only
was a
caught like the
decent
last
game.
like
I
few
think
minutes
how
that
much
they showed like the highlights and stuff.
Jamar had
He
like
had 3 touchdowns.
52, didn't he? He had 3 touchdowns.
He had yeah, he had three
Look,
touchdowns.
I
I
want
think
to
he
check
went
real quick. I'm pretty sure he had
50.9.
52 points. I'm gonna check again really quick. Off track thing. Come on, Wi-Fi. By the way, in
I would
case you
check on
haven't
my phone.
noticed,
That's what I'm recording at.
we are back online just for this episode
Yeah.
this week. Next week we'll be back in person, and
Oh,
I don't really want to give it away too much, but coming up soon we do have a special guest coming on.
yeah.
Not sure when.
Be very
Okay,
cool.
Jamar
Not
Chase.
scheduled yet, but
He
you guys should
had
100% tap in.
52.2. That's crazy.
Yeah.
52.2 fantasy points. And then, yeah, that's gross.
That also reminds me another guy that had a lot of fantasy points a few weeks ago. Devon Anchi out for
Yeah,
several
I was actually going
weeks.
to get into injuries at the end of the episode just because there's so
Oh,
many.
okay. Okay. Yeah, there was a lot
Um,
specifically this week.
and we're making another second podcast today. Okay, so I'm gonna have this full podcast. We're gonna have all the separate episodes from this
Hmm.
one. We're gonna have a second podcast episodes from that one, and a Prize Picks video on the way. So make sure you guys tune in this week.
Yeah. I mean, that's his
Moving
department. You
on.
better tap in.
Yeah. And thank you guys for so much support on the video with Up the
Yeah,
Score.
that the
It's looking
obscure
like it's
video
getting
did
a
really
decent amount
well.
of
Had a
views.
lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be doing that again when we get back. And then
Hmm.
Jets
Improve.
Broncos. I don't really know why I went with the Broncos, but I did. I really have no clue why I thought that Broncos were gonna
Yeah, I don't
win.
know either. It really made no sense.
And Zeke had the Jets. Jets won by a little bit, I think. Really, like it wasn't like a big win for them at all.
Let's find out.
Pretty sure.
They won by 10 points.
Oh, okay.
31
So a pretty good
to
win.
21.
Yeah, so not a bad game, kind of a pooper bowl game, but it was entertaining for sure.
Yeah. I wouldn't go
Chiefs
that far. I mean, they
Vikings.
still look decent.
Yeah, they did. The Jets do still have a decent chance if Zach Wilson picks it up, or if they trade for quarterback, which I feel like they should be looking into still. But I also like to see Zach
I
Wilson
don't
getting a
think
chance.
so.
So
I think Zach Wilson will be fine for the rest of the season. I mean, it
yeah,
makes less sense to make locker room drama by the few guys
yeah,
on the team that do like Zach Wilson, and then you gotta bring in a quarterback who
and
has
make
to
him
learn
learn
all the
right
plays
away.
and everything like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, I mean,
I
it's just
do
like
hope.
the
Is
only thing
Aaron
you're gonna
Rodgers
do there is
confirmed
bring in
for
a
like
real
playoffs
veteran.
too? Would Aaron Rodgers be for sure
He
out of the
was
playoffs and stuff? Because
well, I mean, Achilles, yes,
yeah,
probably, but I saw him not in a boot at one of the games, so I don't know.
I
He
hope
says
he
he's been doing
recovers
really
fast.
well on recovery.
I
So
hope so. I
I
would
don't
really
know.
like to see
I
him
mean,
play again.
there's always a chance like he could be back,
I
but
think
I
he'll
doubt
play
it.
another season minimum. I don't think he'll retire because of this at all.
No, he won't
Honestly,
retire after blowing out his Achilles. I mean, it's just like
no.
there's what's the point of doing a full rehab if you're just gonna retire anyway?
Yeah,
So I
that's
mean,
true actually. And then Chiefs Vikings. We both went Vikings. It's understandable. Justin Jefferson went down. Uh, I blame
fairly
that
early,
because
right?
no, it was in the fourth quarter, but I still blame that
Oh, was
because it
it?
also
Yeah.
ruined my prize pick stuff. But I mean, pretty good game. Chiefs ended up taking the win. Getting into the most unexpected game this week by far, Cowboys Niners. That like it's not an upset, but that could easily be considered an upset. Cowboys got destroyed this week.
I wouldn't
I
call it an
I
upset,
couldn't
but I
believe it.
would say it's the most telling game of the season. I mean, this is really it shows who's the best team in the
Yeah,
NFC by
not
a
upset, but
wide
upsetting.
margin. Yeah, upsetting for you.
It's
I mean,
I feel like
technically
even
the
if you're not
only
a
team
fan, it's
that
just a sickening thing to watch. Like
yeah,
a potential
it's
Super
honestly
Bowl team getting
disgusting to
blown
watch
out.
a team that's supposed to be competitive lose by I mean, what was the score again? I don't remember off the
I think it was
dome.
like 42-10. It was just an
Yeah, it was
insane
bad.
game.
Found
And
out.
McCaffrey
I should
even
have
had a
just let
pretty
him.
bad game actually.
Yeah, he had
Like
a
McCaffrey
horrible
really
game.
did
He's actually the
nothing.
reason I lost in fantasy, but I mean, let's see. Yeah,
Kittle.
42 to 10. Yeah, Kittle
Kittle
had a
went
big
crazy.
game.
I want to check the fantasy points on him. I never did actually. Really quickly.
I would like to say he was like 28 or 30 something.
Yeah, because I feel like no, he had one really long touchdown actually. I'm gonna guess
Yeah.
35. Kittle 27.7. So
Yeah. Okay.
really good for a tight end.
I'm
And
just gonna go
then
ahead and say it because I haven't said my game of the week. That's my game of the week, just because I don't like the Cowboys.
and then last night, really good game. Honestly, if you're not a Packers fan, Jordan Love played awful,
He looked
and it
really bad. That
was
pick was
it was
hilarious
embarrassing.
for
It was
starters.
such a bad game.
It was
But I mean,
that specific pick was possibly the worst pick I've seen,
yeah,
to be
it
honest. The
was it was pretty
amount of
embarrassing.
I mean, watching Peyton just like
I know it was a funny.
collapse to the
It was
floor
funny.
after watching that pick was hilarious. I mean, I didn't really watch the game. I caught a few like highlights after because I was watching the
Yeah,
Diamondbacks game. So, I
yeah.
mean,
Shout out Diamondbacks.
yeah.
um, but yeah, it was a pretty good game. Jacoby Myers had a great game. He was getting plenty of targets. Yeah, I think he had 7 or 8. He had a touchdown. He had quite a few yards. Devontae, he wasn't even getting locked up. They just were not looking for him at all. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
that's
The
a
whole
part of it.
game they weren't looking for him. He had 2 receptions and 1 touchdown, I think, which is good. Or no, he had like three
Jacoby
receptions.
Myers been looking really good. So
Yeah,
I
he's
mean, I
solid,
traded
especially
him
with Jimmy
to you
G at
in
quarterback.
fantasy, but
I know.
he's
For a
definitely startable flex for sure.
Yeah,
At
he's
this
my
point,
wide receiver
every
two
week
right
I would.
now.
Is he?
So, which it works too. He got
Yeah.
17 this week. He'll
I
probably
mean,
keep
if he
doing
puts
that
up
now
like a
that he gets targets.
competitive like 15 to 20 every week, which he has been, so I mean,
Yeah, I
have to
would say
see.
he puts up like 15 or 16 probably average. I would hope at least.
Yeah.
And then, so that's all the games this week.